Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports takes from around the country. So, all right, right now we're with First Things First, where Nick Wright is going to reveal his tiers headed into Week 17. And you're probably wondering, why watch here and not over there? Because over there, they don't care about your views. They don't care about your comments. They don't read them. They say this all the time. But over here, we do. We actually care. I read every single comment, every single one. So if you think what I'm saying is amazing, definitely let me know. If you think what I'm saying is the dumbest thing in the world, also definitely let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's have some fun. Let's get into some fights. Who cares? Let's do it. And please, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps with visibility and really helps with the algorithm. And definitely also, please subscribe. We're building an awesome community here. I'm absolutely loving it, and I really think you will too. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Scientists and Rashid Rice fans and stands fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports media. It's an honor and a privilege. It's a controversial.
Why?
Oh,
Because it's.
oh,
Why?
I saw a quick
caught a
preview.
peek and it's horrible.
Woof.
I was just about to compliment your intro.
Edition of next year's.
Wilds right now, playing through technical difficulty. Wilds goes mostly unscripted, except for the tears and Mahomes Mountain intro he puts in the prompter. Prompter wasn't working. You didn't miss a beat.
Well,
you also
I screwed
managed
up that Pistons thing.
Yeah, you did, and you did manage to fit in there that, Chipotle, because Wilds bought the whole staff Chipotle today.
Hello,
Didn't tell you about that, Brew. You have
He
a
did text me.
burrito bowl
I didn't know
sitting
you
there.
bought
Greg
it.
doesn't eat anything
Had I known
that's
that,
prepared.
I
All
would've-
right, time for the tiers. All right, off the tiers. These teams eliminated. Amazingly, no one joined them this week. The two teams facing elimination both won, but the relegation tier is now hearty. We will show it to you. Any of these teams, go to the tiers, thank you, are out with a loss, literally out with a loss. Their seasons will be over, so we don't need to spend much time on them. Hanging by two threads, these teams probably need to go 2-0 to have a shot, but depending on how this week shakes out, any of them could lose this week and still be alive in week 18. Therefore, they are not on the relegation tier. Cursed by quarterback injury, Jags were 8-3. And then Trevor had to walk 6 miles through the snow to the locker room, and since then they've lost 4 in a row. The Texans, we all saw the video, guys.
He wanted
we saw
it. He
the
wanted
video.
it. Oh my God.
What are you guys laughing about? Okay, well, I don't understand. They were 8-3. The quarterback got hurt, heroically walked himself to the locker room. They have not been the same. The Texans, you guys gonna laugh at this? The Texans were rolling. C.J. Stroud got hurt.
True.
All of a sudden, they're not the same. The Colts also, they drafted Anthony Richardson in the top 5. They've been having to get by with Gardner Minshew. That ship is maybe sinking a bit as of late.
Yeah, but doing all right.
They're okay, but all these teams, AFC South teams, cursed by quarterback injury. Red hot, lukewarm, ice cold. The Bucs are red hot, won 4 straight. Seattle, lukewarm. They were
That's
cold, but now they're
ridiculous.
hot. They were cold, and now they're hot, winning back.
Yes, I understand Seattle beat the Eagles. I get it. And I understand that the Eagles are not firing at all cylinders right now. But to say that they're this low below, right, is absurd. He's putting the Dolphins and the Cowboys and Detroit Lions. I mean, like, that's just asinine and absurd. And he's just, clearly biased in that regard. And again, I'm not being biased because of the Eagles. I don't think that the Eagles should be at the top of the list either. But to say that the Eagles are at the bottom of this tier system is that's just absurd. Truly absurd.
Back-to-back last-second wins, and the Eagles haven't played well in a month. 3 straight losses and then an ugly win. That's why they're all in that same tier. By the way, the Eagles in round 1 might end up playing either one of these teams. If they win the division, they could be playing Seattle. If they don't win the division, they'll be going to Tampa. Either of these
Under that logic, please let me know how well the Chiefs have been playing. Thank you.
teams can beat them. You know how I know? Because Bake Show and because I saw Seattle do it. Next! Speaking of Philly, dreams and nightmares. For future playoff opponents, you're dreaming of, we get Joe Flacco.
Oh,
We get
again.
the down in the roller coaster of Josh Allen, but then you're thinking the
Oh,
nightmare.
I really
There
hope
you go.
We
it's the
get the
Chiefs
Browns defense.
versus
We get
the
maybe
Bills.
the upside of Josh Allen's roller coaster. For first round or even second round potential playoff opponents, is some good, some bad. Next, two great offenses and two great players. Love both their offenses, and I love Jalen Ramsey, and I love Aiden Hutchinson. And maybe I could have added Bradley Chubb and Brian Branch to that, but these teams are going to go as far as their offenses take them and hope that either Hutchinson or Jalen can make a game-changing play on the defensive side of the ball. Super Bowl upside. Quick sidebar, the committee was discussing if the Dallas Cowboys had Sean McVay as the coach, would they be far and away the best team in football? Something to chew on, but neither here nor there. Both of these teams have shown you over the course of the season for Dallas and over the course of the last 6 weeks for the Rams that this team is good enough to win 3 consecutive playoff games. The Rams had a tough start to the season, has been as good as anyone as of late. The only team to play Baltimore tough in the last month is them losing in overtime. And the Cowboys, despite a hiccup these last couple weeks, quite good. All right, this is binding. The committee will book the bet. This is what we were discussed. Because people are going to say, oh my God, how do you have the Chiefs that high? If you are watching this, and this applies for coworkers, colleagues, or anybody, and you have my phone number or the phone number of any committee member, and you would like to take any team beneath the Chiefs versus the Chiefs in a straight-up Super Bowl winner wager, the committee will book the bet. We've placed $50,000 in escrow to be able to handle these wagers, so it's available. So if you're like, oh my God, Nick, the Lions should be out of the Chiefs, book the bet. You know how to call me. You know how to call the committee. We're available.
Okay, right now, I would bet that the Bills would beat Kansas City. I would bet that I would bet that the Los Angeles Rams would beat the Chiefs. I would bet, Dallas versus Kansas City, I don't know. That's a closer one for me. If Joe Flacco can legitimately continue to play legit, that defense is legit, he could beat the Kansas City Chiefs because that defense could squash the Kansas City Chiefs. There you go. Boom. That's the game right there. So the Eagles, if the Eagles can right the ship, which is a big if they can get their act together, then I would also bet the Kansas City Chiefs. I wouldn't bet the Kansas City Chiefs. I wouldn't bet the Eagles against the Chiefs right now if you said I had to place the bet right now. But at the same time, I'm not saying, oh my God, we're definitely going to lose that game. I mean, the Eagles beat the Chiefs. They literally beat the Chiefs. So I think that would be an actual genuine coin flip. I mean, I think it would be a legitimate coin flip between the Chiefs and the Eagles. So that's just, pretty much nonsense right there, honestly.
Number 2, or second tier, I should say, Frank Lloyd Wright. What does that mean? Great architect? What's that mean? Read you a quote from Frank Lloyd Wright. Give me the luxuries of life, and I will willingly do without the necessities. Many people thought that was crazy. For Frank Lloyd Wright, it worked out well. For Kyle Shanahan and how to build a football team, I'm not quite sure about it.
Wow.
He has all of the luxuries. He even has a great fullback. Teams don't even have fullbacks. He has 2 wide receivers that can block. The Steelers couldn't, a hostage situation, 1 wide receiver to block. He's got a great tight end, the best running back in football. They had a great defensive line. They added Chase Young. They just added Sebastian Joseph-Day. All these luxuries, but what's the necessity this time of year? Solid quarterback play. Frank Lloyd Wright could do without. We'll see if Kyle Shanahan can. And then last but not least, now or never, the Baltimore Ravens. If this is not the year the Ravens go on an extended postseason run with Lamar Jackson, then questions, fair or not, will start to bubble up, which is, when will we? Joe Burrow's out for the year. The Bills have been up and down. The Chiefs look more vulnerable than ever. Home field's going to go through Baltimore. Your team's healthy. If now is not the year you make the Super Bowl, then when will it be? That is the committee's tiers heading into Week 17. Greg Jennings.
Excellent.
Got a couple questions with the tiers. I do like the now or never, the Baltimore Ravens. I got to give you that. Like,
What other Frank Lloyd
yeah,
Wright?
I agree.
You gotta make it.
This is what I did say before, that this is the Ravens' year, that the Ravens have to win this year, and if they don't, there will be some serious questions because the Chiefs can obviously get got. Joe Burrow is not playing. Josh Allen and the Bills are obviously very much up and down. The Eagles are not as competitive as they've been in the past. The 49ers, they have a question mark at the quarterback position. Whether you know it now, you'll know it soon. So that they obviously got whooped by them. So, by the Ravens. So this is the Ravens' year. Tua has not been elevated to an elite quarterback. Maybe he will be able, within the next couple of years, continue to grow and get better and better and better. That's a possibility. So right now, this is absolutely the Ravens' year. So if they don't do it now, I wouldn't even blame Lamar Jackson. I would blame the construction of the Baltimore Ravens more than anything. So that's more, if the Ravens don't pull it off, even if Lamar doesn't even play that great, I would still blame the Ravens organization more than Lamar himself.
That two great offenses and two great players, those Dolphins, I'm finished with the Dolphins disrespect.
Oh, disrespect.
Can I say this really quick?
Finished.
Former Dolphin great.
For Brew. Get it? Finished.
Yeah, I do. I wouldn't have got it, but
from
now
Finland.
Gotta do that for Brew one time. But no, when you,
I got it.
I got it.
It was good while ago. Sorry.
But when you look at the Dolphins, like a lot of the focus has been on their offense, and rightfully so. When you look at the numbers, they are a really good offense. Obviously, this is all season long, points per game. They're first. You see the stats. We know who they are offensively, but what I don't believe we know who they are is on the defensive side of the ball. And this is where this team is starting to impress me. Without Jalen Ramsey, this is their defense. They were kind of porous. They weren't able to stop teams from scoring. Obviously, yards per game. All these numbers are true. But when Jalen Ramsey stepped on the field, all things changed. I mean, they're not giving up over 16 points a game. Yards per game is down. Like, these numbers are real. This team can get after the quarterback. They're up in the turnover point per game. Like, I love what I'm seeing when it comes to this defense. And why is this important? Because we know their offense can put points on the board. Defensively, can they stop you? They're showing that now they can do both. They can put points on the board and they can stop.
Well, I do feel like your graphic just kind of bolstered my take that that they have a great offense and a great defensive player in Ramsey. I would also argue those numbers, while the defense did well against Dak, the point I was trying to make yesterday, I was wrong when I said it to you because you said since the Bills game. It's since Ramsey's return, aside from Dak, they have played a really who's nobody of quarterbacks. So I think.
Yeah, that's why you can't just look at the numbers, right? If you just look at the numbers, I already feel the Dolphins fans jumping in me and be like, you don't know anything about the Dolphins. You don't even watch the games, this, that, and the third. Yes, stats are so misleading. It seems like every team this year has a high-flying offense, whether it's the 49ers, whether it's the Dolphins, whether it's the Cowboys, whether it's the Ravens. So it's just like, so which is it? Are they all historically amazing and great and number one in every single ranking? You can't just look at that. So much of the offensive numbers matter who you are playing and when you are playing. Guys, there's only so many games in a season. So a big game or a terrible game can legitimately skew the numbers. They just can. There's only so much data out there, only so many games to go off of. Now, granted, everyone's playing the same amount of games, so you're technically comparing them on an equal playing field. But again, so much of it matters. You know, sometimes games just get out of control. There easily is a world where that Cowboys-Dolphins game was like a 35, 32 game or whatever, like it easily could have that. But instead, it was one of those more grinded out, low scoring games. That now changes your offensive numbers. So this whole idea that, oh, look, they're first and second in all of these rankings, and there you go, this clearly means that they're really good. I think you have to really look and see. If you believe that the Dolphins are really this like elite team or can really make moves, why didn't they blow out the Cowboys? Why didn't they win convincingly against the Cowboys? They just squirted on by. They just got by the Cowboys with a little bit of luck, some mistakes by the Cowboys. That was more about the Cowboys losing the game than the Dolphins winning the game. That's just kind of the way I view it. Obviously, as I said, I totally disagree with Nick's like Kansas City take. That's just nonsense. I do agree with the Ravens. I believe that the Ravens should be at the top, and I still believe that the 49ers should be at the top. I think if the 49ers played the Ravens in the Super Bowl, it would be a great game. I wouldn't suspect that the Ravens would blow out the 49ers again unless Brock Purdy is just not that good of a quarterback at all, which I don't believe. I think he is a good quarterback, so I think he'll be able to do, good enough, but I am not convinced that the 49ers will be able to even get to the Super Bowl, because I think the illusion of the 49ers has been kind of shattered in a lot of ways. And I think the Ravens kind of laid out a plan of like, see, the 49ers aren't that scary. You can beat them, and it doesn't need to be in the context of, well, they were missing so-and-so, or this guy was banged up, or that guy was banged up, and that's why they lost. Oh, they lost because of a missed field goal, right? There's kind of some excuses of why they lost in their, Brock Purdy getting a concussion. There was just all these excuses that you could kind of justify why they lost. What's the justification for why they got smoked by the Ravens? So I think that really opens up the doors. And also, not to mention, it's very hard to win, to blow out a team twice. So they already blew out the Eagles, and they blew out the Cowboys. So technically speaking, statistically speaking, the chances of them being blown out again is unlikely, which at that point, it's like, maybe it comes down to who has the ball last and who gets to kick that, 35-yard field goal for the win. Who knows? So, all right, that's all I got for you today. I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about his tiers? Do you think they're in order? Any teams that you would want to change? High, lower? Let me know in the comments below. And also, let me know at this point right now, who do you think, if you had to bet right now, out of all the teams, who is going to win the Super Bowl? No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to bet right now. What would you pick? I would love to hear. Let me know. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And definitely please subscribe. Join this community. Let's have some fun. Let's get into some arguments. Let's just enjoy what we're doing and build this community. I'm loving it, and I know you will too. See you next time, and thank you so much.